Assalamu guys, Irfan back again with another video, and this video is on Microsoft Excel Visual Basic for beginners. Now this is going to be a multi part video series, and today this is the first part of the series. And in this what we'll be looking at is Visual Basic for Microsoft Excel. So let's get started. First of all, I do apologize that I am a little bit under the weather. So if I don't, my voice kind of sounds strange. So please excuse that. Okay. What we are going to be talking about in this video is uh, buttons and macros, and how you would create a button on your Excel sheet and Excel workbook, and how would you assign macros to the buttons. So the first thing that you need to check out is whether you have this developer tab showing up on your Excel. Now, if you don't, the way you do fix that is you go to File, okay, and go to Options and Customize Ribbon. And here you see the developer. Now make sure this is checked, okay? If this is unchecked, let me just uncheck it and show you what happens. See how the developer tab is not showing up anymore. So if in your case the developer tab is not showing, what you do is you just go to File, go to Options, go to Customize Ribbon, and just check this developer option here and click on OK, and you'll have developer showing up here. Right, so that's how you would make sure that you get the developer to show up if it's not already showing up on your copy of Excel. Okay, so the first thing what we are going to do is we are going to create a button here, and then we are going to assign a macro to that button. And when that button is clicked, what that will happen, that will do is a message box will open up that will say hello world. So like I said, this is just a beginner version of a beginner video for Visual Basic for for beginners. So let's first go into developer, okay, and go to into insert, okay, and click on here where it says button. Okay, when I click here, now see how the cursor has changed to a crosshair. That's because you are in the insert mode. So hold down the left button and you drag, and that's basically what you're doing is you're inserting a button. Okay, when you do that and you let go of the button, your left mouse button, a window opens up where it wants you to assign a macro to that button. Right now, we do not have any macros assigned, so you just click on OK. So what that has done is it has just created a button without any macro associated with it. So basically a button that has no action attached to it. So if I were to click on it now, there's no action that it needs to do. So the Microsoft Excel will give you an error message. So let me go ahead and do that. And when you move your mouse pointer to the button, the mouse indicator changes, and it's now into a pointing hand. So now when you click on it, Microsoft Excel is going to give you an error because there's no macro associated with it. So let's just go ahead and click on it. Cannot run the macro Microsoft Excel for beginners. This macro may be unavailable, or all macros have been disabled. Okay, that's because there is no macro associated or tagged to this button. Okay, and we'll fix that. First, a little bit of aesthetics. If you hold down, see how this macro button is not lining up with the rows and the columns. If you hold down the Alt key, first you click on do a right click on the button, and then you hold down the mouse key with the Alt key, sorry, and then when you drag it, it automatically aligns itself with the rows and the columns, and you can resize it, and it will automatically get align itself with the rows and columns, and just makes it more aesthetically pleasing. Okay. The other thing is the text that shows up on the button. You need to say something that's more logical. In that case, what the button is going to do is it is going to say hello world. So we need to make sure that the and the button says hello world, or it tells us what the button is going to do. So let's just say says hello world. Oops, sorry. Okay. Now, somebody who's using your Excel workbook would know uh, what this button does. Okay, and that's important. Now, what we're going to do is we are actually going to create a macro that will create the message box and put a message up here. So what we do is we go into Visual Basic, go into Insert and Module. Okay, and we start with sub says hello. Okay, basically what this is, this sub means a subroutine, basically a small code. That's the macro that we're going to assign to the button. Okay, this part here, each macro has to be given a name, so we just call it says hello. Okay, so here what we'll do is we'll write a code. And that's it. Okay, and we click on this. Now what we need to do is we have just created the macro, we have created the button, but they're not interconnected to each other. Okay, so we need to make that connection. Okay, so you right click on the mouse on the button, the macro button that you just created, go to assign macro, and the macro we just created is now going to show up down here. So you select that and you click on OK. Okay. Now, if you were to click on this button, the message box will pop up saying hello world. So let's go ahead and try that. Excuse me. There you go. Okay. Now, just to recap, what we did was we created a button, we created a macro, and we interconnected those two. Now, there is a direct way of doing this also, and let me just show that to you also. Let's just insert another button. Here, where basically the macro that we had just created just shows up here. But supposing you are creating a new button that needs some different macro, so you just go into New. Okay. And the Visual Basic window has opened up, and here what we'll do is we'll type a message. All right. We'll also change this text. Right now, right click on the button, hold the Alt key, and we will move it so it lines up with the rows and the columns. Just makes it look better. Okay. And now if we click on this button, the message window shows up. Okay. So just to recap, in this case, that's your example number one. What we did was we created the button, we created a macro, and then we attached the macro to the button. In the second example, we created the button, and at the time of the button creation, we also created the macro, which basically then the connection is already made. It's automatic. So it just takes one step out. So this is a more direct way of creating buttons as opposed to some, both of them are equally valid. Okay, so this, like I said in the beginning, this is part one of Microsoft Excel Visual Basic for beginners. This is going to be a multi-part video series, and this was just the part one. If you like this video, please kindly give it a thumbs up. And if you would like to see more videos like this, please kindly subscribe and hit the bell icon so YouTube will send you notifications when new videos are uploaded. And if you have any feedback, please kind of put it down in the comment section below. Thank you.